outstanding, so I stand out. Cap and a stem, catch a wave on us. Take a shot, make a friend, just enjoy the moment. I'm Luke Skywalking on these haters. Celebrate every day like a birthday. Things come to those that wait up. But don't wait to jump in too long. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. I'm outstanding, so I stand out. Got more babes than a bathhouse. Top Gun on my Tom Cruise. Play for keeps and I don't lose. You're more than love it, cause you're cool as a breeze. So pick a poison, yeah, I got what you need. Nonchalant, got the green on rotation all night. We gon' keep it psychedelic like a cap and a stem, catch a wave on us. Take a shot, make a friend, just enjoy the moment. I'm Luke Skywalking on these haters. Celebrate every day like a birthday. Things come to those that wait up. But don't wait to jump in too long. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Wildin' on my haters. In my 23s having a Jordan moment. Wildin' with the paper. Ice all on my chain. I just popped 2 up, you staying up. Hanging with the gang, that shit dangerous. I can fuck you with my chains, them should take a look. Yeah, come and catch a wave, take one out my cup. Yeah, damn the OD, yeah, damn the police. Wildin' in SV, yeah, moving up your street. When we on the creek, can't be saying to the beach. Ain't no day, ain't no night, make no plans, ain't no sleep. Cap and a stem, catch a wave on us. Take a shot, make a friend, just enjoy the moment. I'm Luke Skywalking on these haters. Celebrate every day like a birthday. Things come to those that wait up. But don't wait to jump in too long. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. I was losing, but I'm better now. All gains I've been wrapping up. At the bull like a matador. Right now I'm higher up than Canada. Cap and a stem, catch a wave on us. Take a shot, make a friend, just enjoy the moment. I'm Luke Skywalking on these haters. Celebrate every day like a birthday. Things come to those that wait up. But don't wait to jump in too long. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Don't sleep, you gotta stay up. Got the babes looking at me like it's dinner time. I know she vegan, but she want the steak tonight. And I smile like a saint with a sinner's mind. Baby, rollin', lick it, let it blow your mind. Shotgun and taking shots now. Conversation flowing left off, we in the clouds now. Laughing in the moments. First you put the work in till it works out. Then work it out till it's turned out. Yeah.
Now, I got a little bit of money filling my pockets. Roll around like I run and shit. I got a system filled up with toxins. I've been broken hearted, now it's fuck that bitch. Getting how to deal with my problems. Fucking bitches getting drunk and shit, but these bitches getting obnoxious. It ain't nothing to me though, I love this shit. Go long days, longer nights, talk too much, the wrong advice. All the lights that call my life. Doctor, will you help me? Get me healthy, keep it low, that's where hell be. Ain't shit you can tell me now. Fuck this rap shit, but you selling out. Ooh shit, my new bitch, you jealous now. Smoking weed at the crib, watching Belly now. All the pain that they causing, like fuck it, we ballin' out, everything straight. You feeling the feeling, I'm chillin', just living, I'm getting away. Conversations we having, I'm getting through static, too much on my plate. Lord, I need me a break. But I'll be good by the weekend. Yeah, I'll be good by the weekend. Yeah, everything good by the weekend. Yeah, everything will be good by the weekend. By the weekend. We going out tonight, yeah, we going out tonight. Like fuck it, we going out tonight, yeah, we going out tonight. Fuck it, we going out tonight, yeah, we going out tonight. It's a weekend, we going out tonight, yeah, we going out tonight. It's a weekend, I've been having trouble sleeping, battling these demons, wondering what's the thing that keeps me breathing. Is it money, fame, or neither? I've been thinking about the places that I frequent, all the people that I see. I'm tired of living decent. What do it mean to be a G? Yeah, and all the time we fall behind. Bitches in the concubine, I call them mine. Crazy, and God is I make water, wine, pause, and time is coming. They often hate me. Never will I walk in line, I cross the T's and dot the I's. Wondering how I got this high. Fell asleep and forgot to die, goddamn. I'm popping them downers and drinking them pounders. Faded, get it over the counter. I'm stuck on the browser like how did I make it? This bitch that don't know me, this shit is so lonely until she get naked. Don't even know what the day is. But I'll be good by the weekend. Yeah, I'll be good by the weekend. Yeah, everything good by the weekend. Yeah, everything will be good by the weekend. By the weekend.
Mondays I think of you, but I ain't tripping on it. Tuesdays I'm hitting. Gotta get my hands up on ya. Wednesdays I'm lit with you. You know you're staying over. Thursdays I'm sick of you. I got to get rid of you. 'Cause Fridays are always the start of the time of my life. Alright. When I get faded, you hate it, but baby, it's gonna be alright. Alright. Set it up, keep riding, drop it, baby, drop it like a starter. Set it up, keep riding, drop it, baby, drop it like a starter. Right there, stand up. M16 on my lap, yeah. A lot of terror on the mind. No matter where I go on the map, you got my protection. Vanilla clip on my love for you. Oh, I let it ring like yeah, let it ring like it's like I'm trigger happy. Vanilla clip on my love for you. Yeah, let it ring like yeah, let it ring like I guess I'm trigger happy. Yeah, let me squeeze you, yeah. You're my enemy. Look, they can't see me up, no, I got the camo, yeah, yeah. Light it up, ready, yeah, ready like a rebel, yeah, yeah. Trigger battle, got the love, got the ammo, yeah, yeah, yeah. I put the D in defender, no, I never surrender, for you, I let it ring like yeah, I let it ring like a trigger happy. Banana clip on my love for you. I let it ring. You know it.
Welcome to Tradetopia, everybody. What's happening? We have 2 more sessions left until the end of the year. This one and tomorrow's. I will be live tomorrow. Ah, man, what a way to wrap up the year. On an absolute run. We are, and we're on one right now. And more importantly, the consistency here with the community is only going up. I'm seeing more people win than I ever have, which is awesome. And not just like making something, but like actual system development, trading like professionals, approaching everything really well. So super stoked about it. Couldn't be happier on how we're ending the year. So congrats, everybody. Tomorrow also, we're going to be hosting Tradetopia Awards. So towards the end of the session, we're going to be giving away awards, just a couple different things for people who've been crushing it. And just we wanted to just highlight you guys. But yeah, if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Mike Navarrete. I've been trading for 10 years. I'm grateful to have just been doing this. That's it, just this since 2017. And man, we just keep doing more of it. All I want is for as many people as possible to have at least the freedom that I do and more, for sure. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to dive into some indices. We're going to look at metals. We're going to look at energy, majors, etc. Every session, you guys watch me execute trades in real time, how to manage them, why, the breakdown before and after. So let's dive into it. I am currently still in the 6A trade. So yesterday, if you guys are in the free community here, I did share the setup that I wanted with Australian in here. So I did execute this short from up here. So you guys will see this right over here. Got a clean little short going on right now. Stops in profit. I didn't actually see this until a little bit later, so my RR suffered slightly. I saw the alert when I was coming back actually from a walk. My dog was going mental these last 24 hours. But that's just the husky life. Anyway, so I got a slightly lower entry than I would have wanted to. But yeah, anyways, we're in this. Stops in profit. If you guys are holding this, maybe you took profit already. Maybe you are going to continue to hold this. You guys can kind of let me know. But that's what we got going on there. Had the nighttime mode. Charts pulled up. But nothing really more I need to do here. This reacted out of this little push down pretty well, honestly. So a little, I wouldn't say concerned, but it is possible that the market wants to reverse out of here. If I'm looking at this from a higher time frame, if this thing only wanted to reaccumulate, then the market can just run from here. But if we are going to just continue the distribution and work our way further down, then we should be able to push well below yesterday's New York lows and trade towards these areas over here. So just keeping my eye on this so far. Stops and profits, so I'm not going to be too concerned. But the main event here, in my opinion, and let me make sure you guys can hear me. We don't want more of yesterday. Yesterday I was yapping here for a good, I think like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and everyone was like freaking out in the chat. I thought it was funny. All right, actually, speaking of the chat, what's good in the chat? What's up, Vaughn? Yeah, 6 I did end up playing out, or it's currently playing out. Rent's due, Rick. That's sick. I like it. Didn't take it. Cool. Diego, what's up? Seth. What's up, Caius? What up, Steve? Shout out Pennsylvania, Chicago. Oh, Steve, you're close, man. We're gonna have a meetup here in Chicago soon. Morning. What's up, Evan? Joe Ryan. What's good? Taylor, what's up? Yeah, I got back to you, Taylor. I know you're asking about syndicate enrollment, so run it up. Guys, 2026, it's right around the corner. No better way to start than doing it together in our personal trading transformation program. So it's not cold out there. It's cold out here, bro. For sure. RIP Mac Miller. For real, man. A legend gone way too soon. What's up, Cav? I'll pop over to look at oil for sure. Cesar, ¿qué tal? All right, we got Corey in here, Harshi, Lonzo, Greg. Get that coffee, boy. Are you gonna be live later for FOMC? Nah, the FOMC for later is a week. It's not interest rates. It's not nothing like that. It's just the meeting minutes. So it's just a recap of what happened 3 weeks ago. So no, I won't be live for that. What's up, Aaron Guerrero? What's good? Yeah, I can give you some thoughts on crypto for sure. Exactly. There you go. Thanks, Seth. What's good? Buen dia. That New York City meetup. It's possible. Nancy's been talking about getting out there. So we might make it out there sometime next year. All right, cool. So what up, everybody? Good to see everyone in here. Active. All that good stuff. All right, cool. So here's what I got so far right now for indices. I'm still on the bear side of this. So yesterday we caught that beautiful trade over here. I believe we had about almost 150 points on the short. A little over almost 200 points on the short. We took our entry around here. And then, just about a 4R on the trade. So really good, really solid sell. You guys, I recommend if you want to see how how I go about making quick decisions, how I manage my trade, the patience and the mindset behind holding trades for a couple hours, especially with indices that I think it's a little harder for most people to hold. Definitely go watch yesterday's recording. Really great breakdown. You guys watch me, take that trade. Made a nice little pocket, a change. But anyways, that also brought us to the potential buys over here. But because price action was so bearish with Dow Jones, I communicated that I was not looking to take this, despite the setup being super solid. There was just more bearish momentum relative to NASDAQ, relative to S&P. So it just wasn't in our best interest to take a position on Dow. Maybe things shift a little bit today. But with that being said, let's take a look at price action from yesterday and see what could we trade today. So yesterday with New York Open, we get an absolute, like, just such a massive move to the upside, 157 points, and Dow making this giant move. This liquidated a ton of London session liquidity, playing into this imbalance. So the market rebalances yesterday with Dow. At the same time this happens yesterday, NQ, so NASDAQ, actually takes out London session highs on top of all of this liquidity, and then started to quickly lose momentum. And S&P took out tons of liquidity as well. So that really set up the tone for our shorts here. Now, there's a massive buy, so there's a lot of buy positions that opened up here before everything reversed. So I am expecting a reversal of this buy still. Yesterday, the market did come back into this area. However, I believe the drop that we saw here, so if you want to take a look at yesterday's reversal in my eyes was an exchange of money from this buy position here. So to me, this is what gets mitigated. Here's the exchange from buyers to sellers, but it's this move here. So I'm looking more towards still selling Dow, but up in this range, closer to like 48,925. So I do still think we can see a reversal from the buyers to the sellers over here. So this is what I think we can get, honestly, within the next couple hours. So there's so much liquidity to sweep over here. Like, look at all of these retail sellers. I mean, it's just building and building and building up. And you have retail buyers. So it's wedging, it's squeezing right now. When the more, remember, the bigger the squeeze, the longer the squeeze, the bigger the breakout. So for the market to break out initially, I'd say to entice a lot of trades, I think it's pretty likely to happen. So that's how we have Dow set up right now. Dow is not moving, very bullish. We have yesterday's New York Open over here. So we'll take a look at where the market is playing across the board with S&P, with NASDAQ. NQ also here has been squeezing, in my opinion. We're seeing trend lines created from the highs. You have, London highs, Tokyo highs over here. So I just see a lot of possibility for the market to clear liquidity here. We've already kind of cracked below these London lows. You have the Tokyo lows here. Yesterday, and this is what I wanted. I wanted to get a buy in here with NQ, but I couldn't really find my entry. But we see a sweep of liquidity here. It takes out these retail buyers. Then the market starts to push. But all of this happens before it actually comes back to close out of this sell-off. So take a look at this here, right? Here's where we start to see the market short. So we come down to here. Market sells off, takes out all these retail buyers, squeezes, and then continues. So I don't think we've really worked our way back into this buy zone for NASDAQ here. So I have my eyes on this idea that we can get a reversal out of here. However, I do want to make sure that we're trading the right asset. So we're seeing NASDAQ go lower and lower. Dow is kind of just squeezing sideways, so not as bearish as we're seeing NQ right now. So I would have preferred NASDAQ to work its way down here like last. This might be one of those trades where it actually gets down to this zone and then it still reverses really well and does everything it needs to do. and it stays within the structure. I think it's possible, but we'll see. You have Dow that has there's incentive for price to sweep these lows. So I'm actually going to go split screen on here, and I want to see how we get this open. What does this open like? Are we going to push into these levels, or just what's gonna happen here? So let's see here. We have New York open, kicking things off the rip. You have NASDAQ getting way more bullish to kick things off. You have Dow pushing down into this level. So money's starting to come in. Obviously, the breakout is more than likely to happen here. So there's kind of two things I want to see, right? Either everything pushes down, but Dow is more slow to work its way down, and we can look for a buy here. If NQ is very slow to get down to here, and Dow is leading the push down, then I'll take NASDAQ for buys. If we start to work our way up, and Dow is the slowest to work its way up, then I'll take the short. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start to, get some ideas here prepared for possible plays here. So I'm going to set this alert. I want to see, this clear these lows. And then looking for positions on NQ, I'm thinking about buys kind of closer to here. So something like this is what I'm looking for. Ideal scenario is this. Yeah, something like this looks good to me. It seems like Dow is going to sweep these lows first. So if that's going to be the case, then I'm able to take a position here. Then at least take this out over here. Take out these areas. It'd be a pretty nice trade, honestly. So let me just set up a limit order here. Get a buy limit. 14 contracts. This is one account multiplied across 16 of them. So this is being copy traded. And if you take a look at this Dow right now bleeding out. All right, liquidity swept. London session liquidity swept. Tokyo liquidity swept. New York lows are swept. And now Dow is working its way into this area. So take a look at this real quick. This area down here, and these are moving in opposite directions. So look at how Dow is only going down, and then NQ has been pushing higher. If it stays like this, then I actually might take Dow buys. Here's why. When the market, when these are trading completely opposite to one another, so an inverse correlation, when they're not moving together whatsoever, so let's say NQ keeps going higher while Dow keeps going lower, they're no longer correlating, right? They're just playing they're like both seeking different types of liquidity. So we actually see them move in opposite directions. If that's the case, then I am open to taking a position with Dow. I want you guys to also think about the big picture here. Thanks, babe. We've seen NQ trade down into this area. We've seen NQ trade down into Tuesday, December 23rd, and then reverse. That's where we're getting to right now with Dow. So let's take a quick look at this and see, all right, can we make a play in this zone or not? And I'm looking at price action here, and obviously we're seeing Dow only drop. Now, look at this. Now Dow is still going lower, and Q is still going lower. Taking the buy out of here, it's possible. The problem is I don't know how these are going to correlate. I don't know if these are going to keep moving together or if they're going to keep moving away from each other. So, yeah, I don't know if I love this idea right now. I think I'm going to stay out of Dow. Even though they're moving in opposite directions, it seems like NQ could still want to target more of this liquidity. And if they're going to keep moving away from each other, that could push this even lower. So, I don't know. We're kind of just seeing these move in opposite directions. Look at how much momentum this is starting to lose. And Dow is also starting to move in this way. So, you know what? Yeah, these are kind of moving opposite to one another still. I'd say if you like the higher time frame trade, then consider the idea with Dow. Like, it's still within the zone. Maybe a smaller risk. Something like that would make sense. But at this point, I think it's too late, at least for me, to take this position. We've already mitigated. So the sell-off was about 50 points. The reversal just did 50. So, yeah, I mean, it did its thing. It did the mitigation. So if you would have taken it, awesome. If you did take it, awesome. I'm happy for you. Price action was it was just too messy for me to confidently take any positions. So, I opted out of that. Maybe we get a different type of opportunity later anyways. So, for example, we just swept tons of liquidity. This might eat this liquidity up, and then we might get a better position afterwards. So we might get a shakeout still, where the break below is only a liquidity capture, but it's actually setting up for bullish direction. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ buy that we had set up here is still an option. So let me go back to one screen. Let's go take a look at this here. So we're seeing Dow aiming for these Tokyo lows now, while damn it, Dow is ripping. I disqualified Dow, not because of how fast, but because of the direction. So Dow was super bearish, NQ was super bullish. And then they both flipped on each other. Then all of a sudden, NQ went really bearish and Dow went really bullish. So exactly what I said. I was like, hey, when they're moving away from each other, typically you can just trade them independently. And I would say, yeah, I think the speed in which it was dropping definitely was like a little bit concerning for me. It shouldn't be, because I've taken this trade many times. So this is my least favorite market conditions, when these are both trading away from each other. It's absolutely my least favorite type of trading. The data shows that you can approach it this way. For me, like if NQ is dropping and Dow is going up and they have a setup, I should take it. Like, I have the statistics that setup works. I think today it was like, this thing is, one, it was getting exactly to the zone really quickly. And my thought was, well, NQ has all of this liquidity too. Is NQ going to take this liquidity out? And is that going to keep pushing Dow further down? So unfortunately, it wasn't the case. And this played out really nicely. If you did decide to, take this trade, then you are looking at a pretty good reversal already. I think it's hit almost a 2R already. Had you taken the trade somewhere over here. But if you did take a buy, I would move my stop to at least reduce risk, if not break even. No reason to have any more extra risk on this. It could be leaving behind a shakeout. So if you're not familiar with some of my entry models, definitely check out the Smart Money Playbook. I know it, at the bottom, you have a whole bunch of free resources that you guys can always scan, whether it's, crypto stuff, futures things, futures cheat sheets, systems, entries, exits, all that good stuff. So right now, what's the potential idea? Well, now we've seen a massive sweep of liquidity. So London, Tokyo, New York lows obliterated. Came crashing down into our higher time frame zone. This was the exact entry that we wanted. Smaller time frames, I guess, kind of had me a little bit uncertain, which I don't like. I'm usually like, actually almost never happens. But it is what it is. Now that the market has quickly eaten up this drop, now the market can be setting up for a completely different trade. So now that it's swept this, the intention looks more like it's leaning towards this was a liquidity sweep, and now it can start to establish a bullish demand. So if the market keeps moving sideways here, we might just get one more drop before continuation. So we want to see more proof that the market's actually holding this down, that pullback, and then from here we can see this thing absolutely rip. So this is a possibility for sure. Okay. Yeah, a little tricky. Typically, this is a kind of trade that, I mean, you guys have seen me take this setup plenty of times. But yeah, of all of it, this is the one that can create a bit more uncertainty, just because we were having complete polar opposite price action to kick things off. So right now, we're seeing more liquidity build up with NASDAQ still. So we still have more of these equal lows. I still have my limit here at 25,664.50. It's a little bit under. It's like a 17.5 point stop for a buy over here. And I have my buy set up where we've seen support prior to this liquidity capture. So this is where I have my limit. So right now, this is kind of what you want to see for a shakeout with Dow. I want to see sideways movement. The longer, the better. Ideally, over 10 minutes, 15 minutes of kind of like chopping up, luring in more. Because right now, this setup is the following. The logic behind this setup is the market crashes. It breaks the lows. So this triggers sell stops. Then you see the pullback. So right now, this is triggering break and retest sellers. So break and retest, retail sellers are now starting to get into the market. The more that you see, candlestick patterns that start to push down, this is luring in sellers. The more, the better. Then sellers start to get into deeper profits. You see the breakout. So once that happens, the logic for me is now this has incentivized so many sellers. There's enough liquidity that the market can completely reverse from here. So that's the logic behind this type of entry model. This has become almost 50% of my trades, actually. It's about 40% now. The other one being the mitigation model. So, all right, we're starting to see more volatility here. We just cracked down into this area here. So take a look at this. We're seeing NQ start to kind of bleed below that Tokyo low, start to kind of dip right into it. Not quite into the mitigation zone. So here's where sellers join and push price down. So we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. So I need a little bit more momentum for that. We active. What's up, Brandon? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás, Kairos? Busco compras. Sí. Yeah, exactly. Look at all that money that got destroyed, for sure. I still like NQ buys. S is lagging behind for the buy mic at least, right? Chicago PMI. Is that a red folder? You have a good point. S&P is lagging behind significantly compared to compared to NQ. So you could look for a buy setup on NQ as well, whether it's where you've seen support before or it's right over here. I see it. I totally see it. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're seeing. I feel like it's about to pick up, and we're going to see S&P actually crash faster. So here is the structure that we're in right now, for example. Oh, there's so many things there. That's not what I want. Hold on. All right, well, we're seeing it push down. We're starting to see S&P pick up more momentum. It's actually starting to drop faster. So if you want to set up an S&P buy as well, then I see it. It would be something like this. Trading down into here, whether it's you want to play at a support or this order block like right there. Either way, depends on preference at this point. And then you have your setup here. Risk reward, I think this is an easy 2.5R, if not further. So creating a setup here makes a lot of sense. We have NQ below Tokyo lows. You have S&P pushing towards Tokyo lows, so you can see that there. And then you have Dow holding the structure pretty well here. So if you wanted to play it safe, then S&P is the move, and we could delete NASDAQ. So deleting NQ. So look at the difference. NQ is starting to, wow, it's immediately reversed out of there. Just missed. S&P not quite working its way below New York lows yet. And then we still have Dow moving sideways. I think we get one more push down. NQ just mitigated this, so it pushed up 34.5 points. This has reversed successfully, in my opinion, over here. Orange on FX Street. I mean, still something, you know. Tokyo lows. I mean, I feel like S&P is still going to clear those. So I'm going to delete NASDAQ because we already saw a pretty nice move. Like the move that we got right here looks to be it already. So I'm going to delete this limit on NAS. We already saw a really aggressive exchange there. The difference is, and I was going to bring this up, Corey. Dow gave us the shakeout here. It took one more push down, just like I mentioned, and then now it's ripping. Damn, that's the buy I wanted. I missed everything today. Wild. So the squeeze, so we had 10 minutes moving sideways. It pushes one bit further down. I don't know if I would have pulled the trigger anyways. I would have wanted this a little bit lower. And then this thing is now starting to run. And as you guys can notice, now, finally, everything is moving together. Now NASDAQ is moving upwards. S&P is moving to the upside. And Dow Jones is moving to the upside. So what I'll say is this, Corey. Remember that, and these are just little nuances. But when NQ and Dow are not moving in unison, when they're moving divergent, like when they're moving completely away from each other, then just disregard S&P, because S&P is going to be kind of, it doesn't know where to go. S&P basically is like almost in price action, it just kind of splits the difference usually. So it is what it is. Right now, we're starting to see very aggressive movement. Nonetheless, NASDAQ didn't trigger me in for the buy, so I would have missed it anyways by like 10 points. This decided to play out of the open instead of playing into a deeper retracement. So that's fine. Can't say I would have like, oh no, like you threw me off. Not at all, man. It wouldn't have triggered me in anyway, so doesn't really matter. That's the downside of wanting absolute precision is, you kind of miss out on stuff like that sometimes, but that's part of the game. Part of trading is that your system doesn't always get you in. Part of trading is that your system sometimes includes losses. So, nothing to do there, nothing to see. Would have loved for Dow or S&P or NQ to play out. Would have been, multiple 5-figure trade. But it is what it is. Can't get them all. All right. Now, with that being said, actually, how's Australian doing? We still chopping up and down? Oh, man, I thought we were good over here. I remember I started to see this go down. I'm not loving the momentum we're seeing here. So we kind of swept below, came up and down. We'll see. Hold on, let me take a look at a couple things here. NZD is starting to reverse a bit stronger as well. We'll see. I'm going to just let it be. I have my stops and profit there. All right, so what are we starting to see? Now, Dow is still pushing up, just not as aggressively as we saw NASDAQ and S&P do it. So the cool thing is we may have a different setup. We might have a new setup later. We saw NQ make its way downwards before the continuation. So we might have a buy setup here later, despite this one not playing out. Remember, at this point, just because, for example, I didn't get the trade that I wanted, there's no reason to rush into this. There's no reason to guess, to want to trade, to make anything back. Just let an entirely new setup come into life. Let the candles print, get more information, get more data, get more context. Then there might be a trade to take. Would have needed it lower. So it's not you could trick yourself like, oh no, like, I missed the move or whatever. You can blame whatever you want, but you know your truth. At the end of the day, you know. So, all right, we started to see NQ take out some of these London like intra-session highs here. Like a lot of this liquidity hasn't quite taken out London or Tokyo high. You have S&P that's starting to push past that, and Dow very close. So either way, the shorts on Dow still look very much possible. I'm curious if instead of getting up to here, though, if it's going to trade out of this area. There's a little order block right there that the market might want to short from. But the reason I'm not going to force anything in here unless we get something like this, which I don't know if it's going to do it. But we might clear these highs, and if we immediately drop back in and then create some consolidation and then it lures in buyers again, then sure, I could look for a sell. But if this doesn't happen, then I'm looking for the sell up here. So those are the two options at this point. So we shall, just going to wait and see. Okay. From there, let's see. Let's go look at some metals. Man, yesterday that silver buy that we had was so close. So close. I mean, technically it would have worked. This was the move right off the open. Came down again. Here it basically made equal lows, so not sure what this is all about. And then we swept it down again. It just keeps trading pretty effectively over here. So here's where we're at so far with silver. Silver 15-minute retracements working its way back up. Now for shorts, I know we're talking about gold or silver sells. So gold is lagging behind. Like gold is not anywhere near as bullish as silver is right now. Silver's got all the momentum. So selling gold makes more sense. However, that doesn't mean selling right now. So as I'm looking at this, you know, we're seeing higher highs, higher lows. The market is starting to shift momentum. Here's the 5-minute structure. You have the low right there, the high right over here. The market starts to work its way down. I think I see what you're talking about here on the smaller time frame. So the market's actually really efficient already with gold here on the 3-minute, 1-minute, etc. And then right before New York Open, right, you get that push up before it starts to work its way down. So if you're looking at gold trades on the small time frame, I don't really ever trade gold on the 1-minute, 3-minute like this. But I do see what you're seeing here. I see it. And the fact that gold is trading with more bearish price action compared to silver also is solid. So what would I want? How would I like to see this play out in order for this to be potentially valid? If we work our way up to here on gold and silver actually takes all of this liquidity out, so if we have that kind of divergence, then I'm open to selling gold. So let's say we were to have silver take out all of these highs, and then, you know, you'd have a much better chance at a reversal there than if it didn't. So that's kind of what I would want to see for this gold idea that you have here, Vaughn. That would make this setup significantly better. I'm going to keep my eye on it. And if we get that, then I could see it. Because I do see what you're talking about, right? You see a push above one more time. This is efficient. We're starting to see a shift in momentum. So that would be like the cherry on top. I'm going to have this be more of a real-time decision rather than like a limit or anything. So yeah, you would be getting, for example, like a lower high, right? If you were to get the entry versus silver giving, if silver is making a higher high, but gold is making that lower high, then there's a way better chance that that gold trade can hold the structure here that you want. Word. Let's get some of this cafecito. Okay. So that's gold. We might have something here. Maybe. I feel like it probably won't happen while we're live here, but we'll see. Okay. Getting back here, checking out indices again. Here we go. Dow is still pushing upwards. S&P wiping it out. And NQ. What happened to my alerts? No alerts? Okay. So look at this. NASDAQ and S&P obliterating London highs, Tokyo highs. It's very sideways here, so it's creating resistance. It's creating liquidity near the intraday New York session highs over here. Or this is New York highs, but here is where you had the a high during the day. So liquidity is being built up here. Nasdaq and S&P definitely are more bullish just to kick things off. And we're currently seeing Dow lose momentum first. So this is building up more retail sellers here. More and more retail sellers. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually end up getting this kind of scenario instead of getting all the way up to here, because Nasdaq and S&P already swept liquidity. So, for example, if we get NQ to take out New York highs over here, and at the exact same time, we're seeing Dow work its way, above London and Tokyo highs into this zone. This I could definitely see as a possibility as well. Playing into these zones right over here. And especially because you have this order block right there too. This here would be just like a whole bunch of liquidity now being swept. That could trigger a reversal. This is not an A+ setup to me though, because for example, in order for this to really be a good trade, let's say, thinking about it like this, this took out some sideways movement here, and then it tried making a lower low, it failed. It tried making a lower low again, it failed. So there is no longer a demand for a continuation. Lower low, a bearish continuation isn't really here anymore. Like, we don't get lower low and there's demand and it's structured. We don't get that. These are failed breaks. These are absolutely, like, they're not confirming the direction. So this, in my opinion, is a lower probability setup because you're not getting that bearish continuation, that bearish structure. I'd prefer to look for buys on NQ if we continue to trade above here. So we broke above these highs over here. If the market comes back up, then I'm down to look for a buy in this area for sure. Like, it would look good to me. So yeah, I would be looking for something like this. But only if we continue to maintain bullish structure with NQ. For now, we gotta wait. Gotta wait and see. We're seeing, so Dow fully rebalanced over here. Some of you may be thinking, oh, okay, let me just take a buy on Dow. And if that's what you think, do what you got to do. If it fits your plan, hey, trade it. For me right now, I'm not in love with that idea. Dow is not the most bullish of the bunch here. NQ is, and you can tell because NQ already broke above these highs while Dow is still within the structure. So I'm not super, excited for any buys there. If anything, I'd prefer anything else. We've traded above, so on the 1 minute, we've traded above this for the last 15 minutes. Okay. The problem is how quickly it went up and back down. So this looks to me like it's more of an incentive to lure in buyers, take out sellers before it reverses. So not the best, not the worst, but definitely not the best. So the longer we stay up here, the better, the more likely that the market does want to continue in this direction. All right, so I'm gonna set some alerts. Let's see what happens, where we go here. Meanwhile, for those of you holding Australian shorts, it looks like we are, maybe we'll get a shot. It's working its way back down again. Dólar franco para una compra. All right, so I was asked about CHF. Do we like the white background better, or we like dark mode better? What do we like better? White. You guys don't like being in the darkness here with me? White. Everyone says white. All right, cool. So this is better on the eyes, but you know what? This is what I do for you guys. I'll sacrifice my eyeballs. But later, if I go blind, just know. I'm going to get these Itachi eyes. All right. Here we go. I hate this. This background stuff. I don't know why they added this. Here we go. Dark. Black hurts your eyes. Really? What? That's wild. I think in the daytime, you know, white's cool. It's fine. But at nighttime, that's a different story. What did you ask me here? You said, where was it? Someone was asking me. Melara. Compra. So, okay, si estás buscando compra con dólar franco, es como una venta con los futuros de franco. But no, I don't want any sells. I see liquidity over here. Maybe not. All right, I could see why you wouldn't see this. This took out this high by a couple, you know, by a tick. Here, takes out the highs, drops. Lo veo así. Si se mantiene estructura bajista, podrías buscar venta, pero asegura de comparar esto con los otros pares del dólar también. Hay otros que se ven un poquito más bajista. All right. So NQ is still slowly but surely working its way down into this imbalance. S&P deeper drop. Dow again working its way lower. So NQ for sure the least aggressive to the downside. It moved above this 1 minute structure time frame for 16, 17 minutes or so. I could see a buy out of here. Honestly, it might even reject out of this order block too. And then another thing that you guys can start understanding or seeing is the shift in direction. So let's say this keeps pushing lower. I'm interested. What was this? 46? Yeah, I could see the market trade out of this order block because we pushed down, came up, traded right into this again, and then went up again. I have a feeling this will be one of those trades that plays out of this order block off the open here instead of trading here. This trade, I'm willing to experiment with a half R. right out of here. Because we did trade above this 1 minute for about 17 minutes. So like, let's say something like this. And then it left equal highs. So I think this is what I had basically. I could see it. So let's continue to evaluate the price action. It's dipping down. Here we go. Dow not dropping as aggressively, interestingly enough. So Dow trading into, here we had that news event, right, where it spiked down and then rallied again, right around there. So imbalance fill here with NQ, not quite it working its way into a deep retracement. The RR has to be worth it for me to take anything anyways. Not quite there. What I don't love about this setup is that now we've seen NQ sweep London, Tokyo. It created more liquidity, but it did sweep and then immediately drop into this. So did Dow, or my bad. So did S&P. S&P sweeps liquidity and then works its way further down here as well. And then Dow stayed below this low here. But Dow left behind tons of liquidity. Very interesting. All right, so there is this idea triggered just now. All right, so we have the rejection out of here. The push down was 18.5 points. So if this thing rejects 18.5 points, I'm going to adjust my stops. And then now what I want to see is who gets a stronger reversal? Is it going to be, because you have Dow that's also mitigating that news event. So going back to Dow here, just so you guys can kind of see, here was that news sell-off, about 32 points, and then that would go to like right here, give or take, if it's going to reject it. As you guys saw, I went half risk on this one because of the liquidity capture. Yes, we had some decent structure, but just up and down so fast, not ideal. Yeah, this is pushing even lower. I wonder if it's going to hold this last point of supply right here. Maybe. All right, so now Dow took out, or S&P took out those lows, those Tokyo lows. Okay. So check this out. All right, S&P took out Tokyo lows. Now this might actually run. Our original entry would have played out, right? It would have been a perfect entry right there. And then now look at this. Dow is holding structure the best out of all of these. Dow is actually trading, holding that down the absolute best. But now we're getting a stronger reversal with NQ. Okay, great. So we have our sweep to the downside here, 22 points or so. This I want to see it run a little bit more in order to properly manage it. So want to see this crack 25,705. If this breaks through over here, then I can tighten my stop, reduce my risk. If you stuck with the original idea, then you snipe this and you're up almost a 2R actually. So right there. So if you had the original entry, much better. All right, let's see price action wise. Bless you. And it makes sense. Honestly, I should have. Another version of me would have seen this. Like, all right, wait for S&P to take out Tokyo lows and then let it run and then pull the trigger. All right, so we've gotten a decent reversal. About 18.5 points. Not quite what I wanted, a bit more. If you do reduce your risk at this point, you reduce your stop. I get it. All right, a little bit of profit. Nothing too crazy yet. All right, now NQ has met the level I wanted it to. So I'm going to tighten this up here, reducing my risk now completely. So at this point, yeah, if we get any retracements, at least worst case scenario, I'm taking like a quarter R risk. This trade now is at a quarter R. It was a half R risk in the first place because of what we had going on over here. So not marrying this, not taking more entries, not doing any of that. We got a minimal reversal. Cool. That's like what I'd say we were owed. So if this works its way further down, not a problem. Then we would look to trade this differently if there is another setup. And if there's not, then there's nothing else to do. Right now, sitting right around entry. So the logic, it wasn't an A+ setup. So for me, it wasn't, I didn't reward the setup with the full risk. Once we saw S&P take out those Tokyo lows, that did give me a bit more confidence in that this trade would run. Not enough to say like, okay, let's up to a full R. I wouldn't be surprised if it plays out, but I also am not counting on it. I'm never counting on the trade playing out. That's never like the incentive here. So we just trade what's available. We trade what was given to us. The liquidity up here is promising. How quickly we end up, let's say, rebalancing this, if we do, will also give me an idea on whether I'm going to have a shorter profit or if I'm going to let this thing kind of run a little bit longer. I will add that on my Tradetopia accounts, I might hit my daily max before NQ would go to here because of Australian trade that's running. So we'll see. Maybe not. All right, so look at this. NQ pulling back. S&P going even lower. Actually, it looks like it's about to trigger where it would have triggered my trade from earlier. But that's not a valid trade anymore. Dow holding up pretty decent, not gonna lie. I feel like Dow's gonna play out. Like Dow's gonna hold this zone and it's gonna rip. In a way, this is almost like I feel like in a way this is basically a shakeout. Like the break, the retest, this lures in a maximum amount of sellers, and then from here now the market can go. It kind of makes sense to me. I'm not going to add any positions here. I think NQ just seems to have a little bit stronger bullish momentum, but I wouldn't be surprised if structure stays valid there. If we break above again here, then I'm going to tighten my stop to here. All right. Okay. Let's go quick recap here with, so gold working its way back up. I know this is a zone you were talking about here, Vaughn. You wanted to see a little bit more of this. So it breaks below. We do trade down here. And then, I mean, we do chop it down here for a bit, 25, 30 minutes or so. Question is this really creating bearish structure, or is this just push down, liquidates, lures and sellers, and immediately comes back? How do you feel about this structure-wise? I don't necessarily love this, what we're seeing here. This is kind of a real quick turnaround. But, I mean, we'll see. Just kind of updating here what we had going on, what you had mentioned earlier, Vaughn. All right, NQ pretty choppy. The squeeze. The good thing when the market squeezes is that the worst case stays the same on like the maximum you can lose. The best case, it gets a nice boost. So if it does go in our favor, the breakout can get pretty aggressive, which is what we want, right? We want to see a big move. So I'm going to stick with keeping my my stop here. There is a chance this might poke below and then go or something, but I'm going to just keep it reduced for the sake of the idea. And because like those are my management rules. All right, so let's see if we break out of here. Okay. Now, oil. I know I was asked about oil earlier. There's a lot of liquidity right now with oil. A lot of liquidity with oil. So oil got into the zone. Here's where we're looking for a trade. I was looking for shorts up in this range around 58, 67. Yeah, right around here. This was a massive sweep of the highs. Then the market worked its way down, just bleeding out. Then the market came back into structure, so it quickly actually reversed. But it then slowed down, and we came and worked our way back down again. Now we're slowly working our way up here. So I like this idea enough for a half hour sell. What I don't love is just how quickly the market came back. It just reversed so quickly. So like, what's the intent behind this? You know what I mean? Like, is this to create a bearish structure, or was this to liquidate buyers, lure in sellers just for this to kind of turn around? So I could see this giving us a reversal. I guess I'm not going to push too aggressively for it. And because there's some flaws in the idea, I'm willing to risk a little bit less and still get something out of this. So I think it looks like playing into this imbalance for a 4R. I mean, looks great. All right, NQ starting to run, guys. Now I'm going to tighten this up even more into just better structure here. It's moving really well. So really good movement. Actually, I'm going to just not even deal with any risk on this. No reason to. So there's NQ. Let's see. I don't know. Let me see the 15-second. All right. Yeah, you know what? I will give it to here. Quick move up. This thing is coming down, crashing down. The Dow is still just very minimal. Nothing big to the downside, nothing big to the upside. Dow is still squeezing. So that a breakout still might be relevant here. We shall see. Yeah, it looks like Dow wants to start to push. But can NQ hold up? If I really wanted to give this a real chance, then I would have my stop here. If I think this is still going to go, I could keep it here. And then the market has a little bit more space to go. And that I'm just keeping in mind what Dow's doing over here. Otherwise, that's the case. So the question is, do you want to risk an extra, I don't know, looks like maybe $50 to give this trade a chance, or take the smaller, a tiny loss, but then get in the way of it? So in this case, I'm open to like, okay, here's a, whatever, $50 loss times the rest of the accounts for the sake of letting it run, seeing it play out. Because I like something about Dow. Dow wanting to push right now, it looks like NQ should have a chance at that too. For those of you in the Australian sell, it's still pushing even lower. So let me bring this up real quick. Here. So I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually put my profit here. Stop profit. Following structure really nicely. All right, so I'm going to have alerts if we start to break out of this. Look at how oil has, so I'm back looking at oil now. Just, here we go. Got oil in line of sight. A lot of sideways movement since London session. So since London here is moving super sideways, a breakout is likely. Whether it takes out the highs first or it takes out the lows first. Assuming it takes out the highs first, then I do think we can get a setup right over here, and then it all drops. All right, NQ back in drawdown here. The fact that we pumped up and lost this momentum, not always a good sign. I would have been stopped out already on this idea here had I kept my my stop right there. So I'm going to share this oil idea. And then I also, like I mentioned, I like trading it into the imbalance. That I think could be a good idea. So here's the 1 hour setup. Because of the way it pushed all the way down to here, I'm not going to, look for a huge trade. I'm going to just look to trade this within the structure that we have right here. All right, so here is oil. So today's setups. December 30th, 2025. All right, oil. Don't love the bearish structure. Looks like low demand, but do think we could get a reversal. We'll take this with half R. Okay. All right, NQ still fighting this thing out. Still got some fight in it. The squeeze continues. I'm very much detached to the outcome of this. I have really no idea what we're going to get over here. But we do know, right, is the original idea was the mitigation, so the sell-off, and then we had the move to the upside. So we got that. That's why stops were adjusted. And then we got some squeezing, the first breakout. Now we're kind of moving sideways again. I'm more under the impression that we're probably going to get stopped out rather than this is going to run. But I don't want to take I don't want to give this more space because it doesn't make sense to me to take a bigger risk than necessary. I think Dow's about to push down. Like with all of this sideways movement, it seems like one swift move down can happen. That might be the what triggers this out as well. But either way, it is what it is. All right. We got Australian still pushing further down. Nice. So Australian at about 2R. 6N. All right, so I did have NZD. So I had an alert on NZD when NZD was taking out the lows. So check this out. Here we go. So now NZD is breaking through these lows. Either this is going to be a liquidity sweep and reverses, or this could start to fill a stronger imbalance over here. Now, why does this matter? Well, this matters because, Australian and New Zealand, they move together. They play together. So since NZD takes that out first and it's lagging behind, look at this. We don't have Australian taking these lows out. The most conservative and guaranteed approach with this would be to just take the profit and not, expect this to go further and further down to take out these lows. So that would be one approach with this idea if that's what I wanted to do. I'm considering it. But yeah, we're seeing NZD definitely leading the bearish move, and these were very much correlated. So if we start to eat this up and then kind of get a shakeout setup going, cool, I'll take my profits. For now, I'm gonna just keep let it trade, keep letting it move. All right, this thing, man, just sideways. That's it. That's all we're getting. Yeah, I think we got one more push down with Dow at least, and I feel like that's gonna trigger this out. So it is what it is. If I open it up some more, it's like how many is it rationalization? Is it technicals? Is it worth it? You know what I mean? So I'd rather just not have to keep not even rationalizing. Sure, I do see the logic behind some of these decisions, but to what extent? You know what I mean? To what extent is that gonna be valid? So I'd rather just completely reassess a new setup, take a small loss, and then move on. Than let's keep making opening up the stop. Because if you're managing your stop loss, the main thing needs to be, is it based off of technicals? If your decision making is based off of other things, then because you just want to trade. You want this trade to be right. You want to be right about the idea. That's where you get into a slippery slope, and then all of a sudden your stop never stops moving. and that's it. So I'm okay with taking a very tiny loss. This would be a 0.2R loss if I get wicked out here. And then if we get a different setup, then that's even better. And if it runs, it runs. Cool. All right, Australian continuing that move. NZD kind of like going back and forth. NQ here. So, all right, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's see what this is realistically looking like now. Now, the way I'm looking at this, it looks more like a shakeout setup for shorts than anything else. All right, I got tagged out here. Just tap me out here for a tiny loss. And then if this thing runs, that will be unfortunate. But it's possible. Here's what I was talking about, right? Here's that Dow liquidity sweep that I wanted to see before this thing could turn around. So now that we saw Dow sweep it here, is this thing ready now to move? What do you guys think? I feel like it's possible, but now we're also seeing liquidity with NASDAQ here moving sideways. So if this gives us maybe we sweep it, maybe we get a 1 minute break and we can get a reversal, get an entry in there. That's possible. But don't force it, guys. Don't trade what you want to see. Trade what just is. Okay? Sure, the market just took out these lows. So what? Does it mean it's going to reverse immediately? Not necessarily. So yeah, anyways, zooming out a little bit with this, just giving this a different, looking at this from a different lens. I do see liquidity up here. I see that we could target this. Selling up here doesn't really make sense because of that liquidity. So not one that I'm looking for exactly there. And then, like I mentioned, I think that all we needed was that Dow sweep before NQ could run. And look at it now, right? NQ is starting to push. Oh, you know what sucks? This trade would have held. MNQ went lower than NQ did. That's bogus. MNQ tagged it out, but NQ would have held. Look at the difference. That's lame. Well, all right, whatever. It is what it is. Technically, I feel like I got robbed. So I feel like if it comes back, maybe I'll take it again. But yeah, I'll leave it at that, guys. We have with the open idea with Australian, it looks like this might be a liquidity capture after it took out these lows. So I'm gonna keep my eyes open on how this moves, what happens, and then I may end up exiting Australian here shortly. Awesome. Guys, great session. We'll be live again tomorrow to do some more trading end the year. We're going to have awards regarding everything that we have going on over here in Tradetopia for everything you guys have been doing, just putting in so much work. So super excited for that. Thank you all for being on. Hopefully you guys learned something on entries, management, exit, risk, any single element behind this. It's our pleasure to do it. We're here live every day. You can learn how to trade like 100% for free just by hopping on, taking advantage of all the resources we have in the free community. So all of that we do so that any single trader has a fighting chance. And maybe it takes you longer than you want it to, but at least you have a fighting chance because it's all here available for free. All right. If you guys want to know anything about any extra resources, in the description, there's a whole bunch of resources that are available to you for free, and any other things like that. And then, of course, the shameless plug is for anyone that wants to take their trading to a professional level. to scale, to actually get your payouts, to stack them, then I invite you to join the syndicate. It's the place to be. Trust. You don't even have to trust. There's enough testimonials. There's enough here, just the people that are on here that will walk you through it and just let you know how awesome it is. So it's a 1-year program. It's 100% focused on implementation, on feedback. This is not just a course. It's us dissecting your trading, your ideas, your entries, your exits, the psychological barriers behind it. So if that sounds like something that you need, and especially if you've been having similar outcomes for an extended period of time, whether it's all of 2025 or the last 5 years, then I highly encourage you to take that. And we have a couple cool options on how we want to do it, on how we do it, because I am in belief that we can get results. We make it so a portion of the membership actually comes through payouts, not just out of pocket, but out of profit, as Nancy says. So if that sounds like something that you want and something that you need, then check it out here, guys. Here is the link to enroll. Do it now. Don't be lazy. If you know you want to do it, then do it. Estar en español. El curso gratis sí está en español. Somehow you're still in NQ. Solid. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should have been in NQ, but whatever. But it's all good, you know. It's all good. All right, guys. We'll leave it at that. I wish you all the absolute best. And until next time, folks. Silver just took out those highs. Well, shit. And gold's slow. Yeah, keep an eye out on gold. Check that out. That might be that. Honestly, that gold sell could play out really well. Good stuff, man. All right, guys. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.